In this video, I will show you multiple options at every position for every game in the main slate on DraftKings in 5 minutes or less as Week 11 continues this Sunday. My name's Quick Pick Nick, and having compared multiple options at every position by each player's price and personally calculated projections, here are your primary picks for November 22nd, 2020. If you like this kind of fast-paced calculated content, subscribe and stay tuned for more lineups throughout the season, including an afternoon express slate on FanDuel going live tomorrow morning. Starting off this lineup with our primary quarterback, my model selected one of the frontrunners for Rookie of the Year, the man who turned from looking 25 to 16 with one haircut, Justin Herbert. Herbert has been nothing short of spectacular this year and has been able to produce fantasy-wise in every single game he's played. Since Herbert's surprise start in Week 2 after Tyrod Taylor took a needle to the lung, Herbert has yet to fall below 19 fantasy points in a game, currently averaging above 26. For $6,800 on DraftKings, Herbert's not that expensive either, ranking $500 below top option Lamar Jackson. With the most favorable matchup against a tanking for Trevor Jets organization, Herbert should be able to continue his consistently impressive performances and build upon them with a likely above-average game this Sunday. Secondaries at quarterback are headlined by Jameis Winston, who will be taking over at the position for the Saints while Drew Brees is sidelined. This pick could be huge in terms of value, as my projections put him around 20 points based on his supporting skill players in New Orleans, and for just $5,900 on DraftKings, you'll be able to save a ton of money. But I didn't really want to take that unpredictable risk that Winston might complete more passes to the Falcons defense than Michael Thomas, so if you are also skeptical of that possibility, another secondary includes Joe Burrow, who's even cheaper than Winston at just $5,500, yet averages above 20 fantasy points per game, but does face a tough Washington defense. The primary running backs my model found include Dalvin Cook and Duke Johnson. Cook had a pretty weak game last week against the Bears, but a weak performance for Cook is a career day for most running backs, as he still managed over 15 fantasy points with 30 carries throughout the night. Cook still puts up quarterback-like numbers, averaging nearly 29 fantasy points per game on the season, and will likely find his easiest matchup yet against the 31st ranked Cowboys defense in rush yards allowed per game. As for Duke Johnson, with David Johnson still on IR, Duke will find the bulk of the on-the-ground volume going his way this Sunday if he manages to suit up. He's averaging 15 carries a game when David Johnson is out, and this kind of volume should be plenty against a weak New England rush defense. Some secondaries potentially worth consideration are Kalen Ballage, another cheap option who will likely act as the Chargers' primary running back against the complete failure that is the New York Jets, and Mike Davis, once again assuming high volume and high responsibility in the Carolina backfield while McCaffrey remains inactive. For the primary receivers, my model found Devontae Adams, Keenan Allen, and Steven Sims Jr. It seems like the trend for this year is to spend more at the wide receiver position, where there is more potential for explosive games that will set you apart from the rest of the competition. Devontae Adams is Exhibit A for this argument, as he is the only wide receiver averaging above 20 fantasy points per game, with the most attention out of any player in the league, recording 10 or more targets in every full game he's played. His inflated price tag isn't really an issue either, as for just $1,000 more bucks on DraftKings, we might be able to expect even double what any other receiver could possibly offer. Allen is another relatively expensive option worth the spending because of that high school level defense he'll be facing in the New York Jets, and for the same reason that Herbert will likely have a big day, Allen will be the main benefactor of Herbert's success, as his primary target with over 20 fantasy points in 3 of his past 4 contests. Unlike the first 2 primaries here, Sims is a much cheaper option my model found as an underrated and perhaps sleeper pick, as he is fresh off IR and caught 5 of his 6 targets in just his second game back, which may continue as he becomes more comfortable back in the Washington football team's offense. Secondary wide receivers my model recommends are Jakeem Grant, a very cheap $3,500 option who is becoming more involved with the Dolphins offense, and AJ Green, a risky option considering he missed all 5 targets last week but could prove valuable given his high volume coupled with his low cost. For the primary tight end, my model chose Tyler Eifert, as although he will face arguably one of the strongest defenses this league has seen in years in the Pittsburgh Steelers, inexperienced fill-in quarterback Jake Luton will be dependent on Eifert's short-range capabilities in his attempt to just get rid of the ball. If you're looking to spend a bit more, Logan Thomas is a great secondary option, as he has never fallen below 4 targets this entire season and faces a weak Bengals pass defense. For the tertiary at flex, my model picked Randall Cobb, as although this will cause a Houston double up with Duke Johnson, I believe they won't really hurt each other's production, as Johnson will be the go-to for rush plays without eating into the pass game, and Cobb will continue to see some decent attention with his double-digit fantasy average. The remaining budget allows us to take the Miami Dolphins defense, who will face a subpar Denver team that really hasn't managed to get much done at all on the offensive side of the ball. But one other secondary option at this position is the Washington football team, with that favorable Cincinnati matchup if you're looking to save some more cash. That's what my model was able to come up with for the main slate on DraftKings this Sunday, November 22nd, 2020. This has been Quick Pick Nick, the intersection for sports, data analysis, and speed. Thanks for watching.